Who stood out in practice that was not a quarterback?
Have a couple, and so we'll do the same thing. We'll go 1-1-1-1. Um, I'll go with one that I personally got to watch a little more because I was with the OLDL one-on-ones.
Mm-hmm.
This guy Taco Charlton, bro. He comes straight from free agency. He comes straight from the streets and he dominates, man. And I mean, I got the courtesy of watching one-on-ones today, and so I charted all the one-on-ones. Taco Charlton, he beat Il Manning on a rep where he just dominated that rep, and then came back and beat Jalen Moore on another rep. So worked exclusively as a defensive end. He's more of a leaner defensive end, a taller, leaner defensive end. Worked exclusively there, but won both of his one-on-one reps. Fast forward to 11 on 11s, and he got one of the lone early. The offense had a good stretch early on, but he got one of the lone early plays that was really a standout play for the defense. He beat Joey Fisher, worked on the inside. This was a rush from the inside, beat Joey Fisher very easily for a sack on Brandon Allen. That sack happened within 2.5 seconds. It was very quick. So a good day for Taco Charlton on day one. And the reason that we bring it up, not he's playing against the second and third teamers, but we want to see which of these defensive ends can really stand out, because in my opinion there are two solid defensive ends on this team and a bunch of unknown commodities. Drake Jackson's still an unknown commodity, but I'm placing him in that locks group alongside Nick Bosa. Apart from that, I have no clue who exactly will rank out on this depth chart, because you've seen a mix of Kerry Hyder, Austin Bryant, Cleveland Farrell, and now Taco Charlton, who've had their moments, but have also, seen inconsistencies or injuries or something like that. Standout number one, though, for me, Taco Charlton.
This is actually a great comment and so true. It was Taco Tuesday.
Oh, that's why he played well. No wonder.
That
Okay.
is why he played well. So I've got to see more from Taco Charlton. I disagree with you. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Taco Charlton was an absolute beast. That's a great call out by you. I'm gonna cheat, maybe. You know what? I'll just take one of them because you might go with the other one. I don't want to cheat, but I
See, that's
called.
why I gave you both.
Okay, all right, all right. I called yesterday for tight ends and running backs to do something. Just show me anything, please. Anybody not named Kittle and not named CMC. The tight ends did not do that, unfortunately, but the running backs did. And the one that really, to me, I thought just ran extremely hard. And this is what I liked most about it was these linebackers are tackling in practice a lot of the time. They're basically trying to big brother the offensive players for whatever reason, set a tone. You're not supposed to tackle. You're just supposed to kind of wrap up, hit, pop the pads, let go. But the linebackers are out there to set a tone every day. Not with this running back, not today. Mason not only ran with explosiveness, didn't fumble the ball, which is great. That's one thing that has been happening, but he was finishing his runs with violence. He was not going to be tackled today. He was the one that was asserting himself as the dominant player against those linebackers. And anytime they tried to, like, once the play was kind of over, they'd try to rip the ball from him. He'd rip it away and continue to run up field and finish whatever he wanted to do. I loved seeing that from Mason. So great day from Mason. And it was good to see because he's had some rough days with these fumbles for sure.
I like the call out for Jordan Mason. I mean, when we're talking about who to point out, right? Yesterday, we said it. We wanted running backs and tight ends. Those were the
Mhm.
two position groups where, like, can we see a little bit of the pick up the pace? Because those are two position groups where you're going to see a competition for the backup spots. Today, not much Elijah Mitchell. Christian McCaffrey was in there, but not much Elijah Mitchell. What does that mean? Jordan Mason and Tyrion Davis Price both got a good amount of reps today. Mason looked phenomenal. I mean, no fumbles, and this is good because when you have a lot of carries where you're running as hard as Mason did, and it's clear he was on a mission today. He was running hard, good ball security. That's what you want from him, because it's Mason of camp with fumbles is essentially Mason of last year. It's just you have a fumble every here and there, and you can't really afford that. But the true Jordan Mason, the one that has good ball security, was the one on display today. And of the few one-on-one reps that I saw with Jordan Mason involved, it reiterated what I saw last camp and reported early on. He is a solid route runner. That is something that I noticed, and it works well with his change of direction. He's got good change of direction skills, but he's also a solid pass catcher. And it's important to note because I saw this last training camp, but he got very limited reps working exclusively with the third team and barely with the second team at the end of camp. But it was something reported by the Athletics' Matt Barrows in OTAs this year, and then something I'm seeing again this year. I wonder, especially with the 49ers probably looking to for someone to take some of those Christian McCaffrey duties when McCaffrey's off the field and be able to catch some passes. I wonder if Mason can, win that role in a way and get on the field in that sense. Good start in that regard. But the other running back that I mentioned, the guy who also split a good amount of reps today, TDP. TDP shined on day one, was my clear winner of day one. Just he looked way different than last year, then quieted down a little bit. It's not that the reps weren't there or things like that. It's not like he played poorly. It's just he didn't stand out. Today, though, was different. Like Mason, he was on a mission. He ran hard. He hit the holes, had good vision on a couple of runs with some cutback lanes. And he also, he just had a good day, a good hard day of running. And this is exactly what I wanted to come out during pads. Without pads, it's tough to see who runs as hard, who's as physical, who can really deal with it. With pads, you don't get the sense fully, but you get the sense a little more, and TDP passed the eye test today.
Absolutely. I'm going to keep this comment up because there's some. I'm going to star it. I'll take it down and I'll bring it back up when we get to the quarterbacks. There's a reason that you're hearing some quote unquote inconsistencies. And I don't know exactly what was said because I haven't been able to watch. Again, before these shows, I don't watch anybody else's content. I don't go see what they're tweeting because I want to come with my opinion. But I did see a comment on my YouTube video that talked about maybe what Grant had said, and so I'm going to give context as to why you're going to hear some discrepancies there. So stay tuned for that. But the last one for me that stood out was Jalen Graham. So remember, Jalen Graham, 7th round pick, and
Interesting.
it's rough, right? Because today was a day that Winstead went down, and Jalen Graham was healthy and looked good, very good. So when they do these one-on-one periods, keep in mind, it's literally one-on-one. Receivers can do whatever routes they want to do. A lot of times they're doing double moves. It's really, really, really hard for the defensive player to win those reps. It's just hard to do. The advantage is always on the receiver or the running backs, tight ends, whoever is running these routes. And today, CMC was cooking everybody. I mean, it was not even close. He's getting open by 2-3 yards at a time. Not when Jalen Graham was on him for the one rep. Jalen Graham was right in his hip, could not have better coverage, put his hand out in front of the ball to try to tip it away as the ball was coming in. CMC caught the ball, but that's because CMC is just incredible. I mean, what can you say about CMC that there's nothing I can tell you about CMC that you don't already know. He's absolutely phenomenal. He was able to bring the ball in, but Jalen Graham was in sticky coverage. And then same thing when he went against Juszczyk. Juszczyk gets open repeatedly. Very good route runner. His hands are super, super underrated. And Jalen Graham gave him no breathing room. In fact, the ball had to be thrown where only Juszczyk could get it, and he had to dive to try to do so, and Jalen Graham wasn't having any of it. The coverage was phenomenal, and it was a deep route as well. It was not a short route. Gave him a little inside move, and then went up the left side of the field, and Jalen Graham was right there, stride for stride. That was really, really good to see. So, Jalen Graham is likely not going to be your third linebacker to start, but the 49ers, year in and year out, find guys like a Jalen Graham that they turn into superstars eventually. So I'm curious to just watch him over these last couple days that I have before I head home and just see if those types of things continue and what he can do in games during the preseason and if he gets any opportunities. I'm excited